Right. At least for reference, I know how close I need to be to the.
What before we start, what rankings are we in world and UK? Number one UK.
Well, there are no official UK rankings, but
right.
actually it's a bit complicated because I just moved. So like, in the best way I can explain it is, in darts, right? You've got BDO and PDC, right?
Yeah.
So can I swear on this, by the way, or no?
Yeah. Anything goes.
Yeah. So you got shit darts, right, and good darts. The good players in both of them, right? But people inevitably usually go to the good darts, right, for the money, etc. So I was in All Pro 8 and I was ranked 8th in the world there. You don't have to sign a contract with them, so you can freely do whatever you like, and you're unaffected. But they only have a handful of contests a year. So ultimately, I thought I want to go to Major League Eating, which is pretty much, they have contests. They have a season essentially, and they've got a contest every week. So they've had I think 9 contests already from the first one I did, which was March.
Yeah,
I think. And you have to sign with them, so you can't compete elsewhere. And it's you have to sign over certain rights and stuff. So it's a big deal. But they only do their rankings once a year, so I'm hoping I'll get top 20.
Right.
But I came 4th in my first contest, which was amazing because
this was the one. Right, we might as well just continue this as a podcast. So I'll do the intro in a minute, but this was the one that you've just done in Miami.
Miami, yeah.
Ooh,
so
it looked nice over there,
It was, the funny thing about Miami though is I had this Will Smith vision, right? Video.
Have you never been before?
No, I've never been before.
Right.
And I was like, I bet this place was really nice about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just run down. But it was an amazing time that I had there because, like I said, it was my first Major League Eating contest, and the production of it is crazy compared to what I've done before.
Yeah.
All Pro Eating, they got big crowds at the events, maybe 1,000 people or something like that. But this had, I couldn't say how many it had, but a lot of people. I was looking out and I was like, wow. And just the music, kicks in and stuff as you compete. And
proper American.
The amount of people that were there and that wanted to meet me afterwards, it was just mad. I'm just this guy from Leeds, right? And there's people in Miami. Is this guy actually and his wife's. He was like, we drove down 800 miles to watch this contest today. He's like, we love your channel and stuff. And I was like, I better spend a good 20 minutes talking to this guy. But yeah, anyway, that first contest, I saw the roster of people that were competing. So you got Joey Chestnut, best in the world, number 1, right?
And he won as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he won
by a country mile.
By a mile. Yeah. You got Darren Breeden, who a lot of people won't know. He has a YouTube channel called Darren Eats. I'll give him a shout out. But he's another incredible competitive eater. And I could list them all, but the big the guy I wanted to beat was a guy called Eric Badlands Booker. He's been around for ages, right? Proper journeyman, really good eater. And I beat him and a couple of other people that are ranked. And it just felt amazing, because they really bigged up the part that I'm English, right?
Yeah.
And I was hashtagging on Twitter. I was like, the British are coming, the British are coming. But I thought going into that, because I'd not practiced at all for it, I thought, right, I'm going to go here. I'll probably come highest I'd finished in a pro event before was 5th. And I thought this event, probably the depth of competition's thicker, there's more people there. But I took 4th. I should really have taken 3rd, I think if I'd practiced for it, I would have took 3rd. But it was cool to place in the money,
And what were you eating? Them little potato...
they call them croquettes. It's like
croquettes? Croquettes
it's like a Spanish festival, right? Or Cuban festival, over there. So they call them croquetas.
Oh, right, okay.
But, to us it's like croquet potatoes, potato croquettes.
I'm pretty sure I had them at school when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure that's something they fed you at primary school back in the day.
These were really good though, deep fried, put little bits of ham in there or bacon or something.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the video. Right, obviously they've gone a bit arse about face for this,
Sorry,
this
man.
podcast.
It was me,
So what I'll do is, I'll now introduce you.
No.
I've already figured it out. We've got Beard Meets Food in the building. Full name, Adam Moran, yeah?
Yes, correct.
Most people won't know that, will they?
Most people just call me Beard, on the street. It's amazing. I might change my name to Beard.
I think it's pretty cool. A healthy 564,707 subscribers on YouTube, which is unbelievable. So just going back, I met you probably just over a year ago now, maybe a year ago.
I want to say a year to 18 months
or
something like that.
When I was vlogging and working down at the bike shop in Batley, and we had the VMAX challenge.
Yeah.
And I was just there and I'm vlogging away and I was like, it's doing really well. And we got a fairly quick growth on the vlog. We we're getting a few thousand views an episode. We've got a couple of thousand subscribers. And then somebody just came down to office and like, oh, there's this YouTuber here. And he's like, we're going to take on VMAX Challenge. And I'm like, who? And they're like, oh, we don't know. And then I came down and it's like, you're not big. Like, you're only little, aren't you?
No, I'm a little guy, yeah.
And I'm like, this is weird. This guy just walked in with a beard. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to take on this challenge. And I thought, oh, all right, cool. And I'm like, so what's your name? And he said, and oh, what's your channel? Beard Meat. And I looked. And at that point, you had 280,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, like that's fucking incredible. And I looked through your videos and you're like millions of views a video. I'm like, oh shit, this is a real deal. And then you started setting up and you got all your camera equipment out. I'm like, fucking hell. At the time, like, I was doing everything on like a 70D. Like that's it, like 2 lenses and a 70D. And I thought I was doing all right. But yeah, going back, like you came down, took on the VMAX challenge. It was like 6 burgers, I think it was. Because you were just about to go into competition for a burger.
Yeah, I was about to do the Highway 55 World Burger Eating Championships, which that's the biggest contest they do in all pro eating, which is an American federation of eating. But yeah, that's where we first met. I
know, yeah, it was good. And then since then, I've obviously left there. I went underground for a bit, so I figured out what I'm going to do with my life. And then I came back out, then set up Get Your Media, set up the podcast. And first person, literally, you were the first guy. I'm like, we've got to meet. If you're in Leeds again, like obviously in Leeds area, I've got to see you. And I've been following you since, and your channel's unbelievable. And I can see you've recently gone verified on Instagram as well.
Yeah, I've verified on Instagram. Twitter, I mean, like, Twitter's just this. I love Twitter, right? It's one of my favorite platforms, but it's proper archaic. They've not been verifying people for like a year, so I can't get verified on that. I don't have many followers on there, but the biggest one for me lately has been Facebook, because I'm verified on there, and part of their creator program now, which is a bit like the YouTube partner program, you know, so you can earn money from ads and stuff.
Yeah, putting ads
actually on Facebook, which is great for me because I can just use content from YouTube and just put it on Facebook and earn some kind of revenue from it. But that means that they push it as well to like a wider audience. So I went from having like 50,000 followers on Facebook to I think I have like 170,000 on Facebook now, which is mad. So
that's amazing. That. Yeah. So let's take it back then. Like competitive eating. How does some like this is what I asked you last time. I'm like, for starters, how the fuck are you making a wage from it? How are you getting paid from YouTube? Like. What mythical creature? Because YouTube's just an unknown for everybody.
Yeah.
It probably is for you. It's like even like as a major creator.
Yeah.
Like you're still at the wit of whatever YouTube decides, demonetization, whatever. Totally, absolute nightmare, innit?
Yeah.
But what possessed you to first get into like competitive eating?
So I guess long story short, people ask me this question all the time. I've got like a rehearsed answer now, but
I don't want to ask you the same questions.
No,
like it's shit questions.
People watching the podcast or listening will want to know, but yeah, I've always been into like, believe it or not, like health and fitness, and a big focus on like strength training. Right, I'm not a big, like you said, I'm not a big guy, but I do a lot of kind of
Shred City though.
Yeah,
I've seen some pictures, man. Like you go stage, some striations, like I'm telling you.
Well, that's how I got into it originally, because I'd just be in the gym all the time because I hated my old job. I used to work for a bank, right? And it was a good job. I used to work for the stockbroking department of a big bank. I was a manager there. I used to manage people, you know, place trades on the stock exchange, which sounds glamorous.
Like Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah, it's nothing like that, right? No hookers, no cocaine.
Throwing midgets at dartboards.
None of that. But yeah, so all my spare time, I would just be in the gym, you know, like all day. And I was like, one day I decided, like, I'm gonna go on this really long diet, see how shredded, how lean I can get, just for kicks, right?
Yeah.
So I got there were some pics of me online, and I got probably to like 8-9% body fat or something like that. And after I was done with that, my girlfriend was like, right, you need to give yourself a bit of a treat now. And I've seen this like Man versus Food challenge at this local restaurant. If you go down, you get it free. If you finish it, you get free t-shirts and vouchers, etc. So I went down and did it. It took me a long time to do it, but yeah, it was a proper laugh, you know. And I thought like only 2 or 3 people had finished that, and it had been around years. And then we did a few more, like casually, just as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
And then I realized you kind of get better at it, so I was like, oh, I'll see if you can actually improve on, you know, you could train for it and stuff like that. Then I started my YouTube channel again, just as like a hobby, you know, as a bit of a laugh. I show it to my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of snowballed from there, you know, and you pick up traction a little bit like you guys with the podcast. But after a while, it got to a point where I was just making more money from doing this and from YouTube revenue and other, because I was working for a couple of restaurants on retainer, you know, doing like food photography and videos and stuff for them.
Oh, yeah.
And a bit of
Are you all self-taught with that as well then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still. I look back at videos now from like a month ago, and I'm like, oh, that's terrible. It's like
You've got some skills, like your editing. Like I mean, obviously we've had chats back and forth. When you first got the Sony, you transferred over from like, we're gonna get proper nerdy on cameras. So if you don't like this, just skip past, like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Put some timestamps in.
Yeah, we'll put some timestamps. But like, obviously, you went from Canon over to Sony. And I remember when you first got an A7 III, or
yeah, A7 III. Still got it now.
and I saw the literally silky slow mos, and I'm like messaging them, going, "Which camera are you using there?" You told me, I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm getting one of them."
yeah, man. But yeah, when I first started, like I look back, some videos I'll go back and they're that bad, I'll just delete them. Right?
Really?
Get rid of that. Not often.
Yeah.
A lot of the first ones, I like them for like just kitsch value. You know, I can look back and think, wow, that's not even in focus. Like my face is literally, I'm talking to the camera, it's not in focus. But yeah, I started as a laugh, and then I think because I'm British, you know, and there's not, people love Man vs. Food here, right? The TV show with Adam Richman stuff. So I think people just kind of latched onto that, and yeah, before I knew it, I was being like asked to do some TV stuff, and I learned how to use. Well, I think I got to the point where I was like, right, I could actually make a go of this, and I started learning about how cameras work and stuff, how to edit stuff, and things like that, shelling out a bit of cash on gear, and then, yeah, before I knew it, I just thought, right, forget this, I'm going to just leave I was making more money from this than the job I was employed at, so I thought, why not just do this full time, you know?
No, that's fair enough, innit? I mean, like the quality level of your editing is, obviously, even since last year, like, it's gone up by so much.
Yeah.
I'm well impressed with your videos.
Thank you.
Impressed. And everything about them, like the production value is going up, like your banter's going up. Like when you did that sequence at Christmas, you know, like going away crying and your missus were checking like messages on. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously we've got to give a shout out to your missus, Lindsay.
Yeah. She's on Instagram now. I think at Mrs._beard_eats.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was out drinking, you know, the bank holiday weekend in Wakefield, because that's where all her family are from. And she got recognised twice. She was like, she's messaging me like, oh, I keep being recognised. People are coming up to me and saying, oh, Mrs. Beard. I'm like, wow.
It's mental to think about it though, because I think that's like the whole YouTuber and like being an influencer online, or just even having a presence online. You are a character on a screen. So that must be the most bizarre thing for you, is that you're obviously just a lad from Leeds making videos, but you are like a massive influencer on screen. So when people see your videos come up and they're watching you week after week and they get to know you, they build up a rapport. It's like same for me. Like I've not seen you in a year, but I've watched your videos. So you sort of get a familiarity that you probably won't have in return to most people you meet. It's proper weird, because I get the same with videos and podcasts. Like I'll go to events and stuff and they're like, oh, I've seen you, like whether it's about podcasting or I'll put like digital marketing information into business groups and like, oh, I've seen your videos of quality, and you ain't got a fucking clue who you're talking to. But they're really familiar with you. You're like, this is weird.
I get some people be like, not so much in person, but I get the amount of messages I get every day is just mad. And I really do try and respond to them. I set aside like 2 hours pretty much where I'm just replying to stuff, be it YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And I'll get people saying, oh, you remember this video where you did this? And I'm like, I don't remember what I filmed like 2 weeks ago. No. Like, no. How many calories were in that? I'm like,
go back and check. You put a calorie count on every video.
I know, but some people come on and they'll be in the comments on the YouTube video talking amongst each other like, oh, but remember when he did this? And oh yeah, that time when he did that. I'm like, I literally have no recollection of any of this. But
well, I mean, that's probably a good, like, this is probably a good sort of like tier off. When you sort of thought about taking it as a career and monetizing it, were it just a lot of research to sort of get into the, because a lot of people outside looking in could look at YouTubers and look at vlogging and go, oh, that's easy, you just make videos. Yeah. But the actual people don't understand what it takes to film, like basically pre-production, plan a video, get the stuff in place to create a video, create the dialogue, make sure it edits right and fits right, and then the distribution on all these channels, getting it all and then monetizing it, and then obviously going from another side of it is building up a brand, building up your clothing line which you're selling, to monetize it to something that actually can pay the bills. Yeah, people don't see any of that. So what for you? Were it just research that got you there, or?
You're right. Just to like bring that, to highlight that point, because nobody thinks like that. You're the only person I think has ever said that to me. You know, on any interview or whatever. Yes. But you're right, because so many people you get negative comments. That, you know, it's like water off a duck's back to me. But so many people will say you just eat food, and I'm like, the food is is 5% of it. It's circumstantial. That's just the means to entertainment. It's like saying to a juggler, you just juggle. But like if they have like some entire the world's best juggler or England's best juggler or something like that, and they've got this huge production behind it, you know, they don't see that. They don't know that it's 60 hours a week of me filming or editing or planning or whatever. That's longer than I used to work in a normal job. I have less time now than I did before, and I'm not complaining. I love it. I love it that way. But I don't think it was so much research, is I just kind of jumped, you know, and I thought, I don't want to say YOLO, but when I had the opportunity, I thought, right, I'm making an equal amount of money from this, essentially, right?
Yeah.
From and I hate my job, like I despise it. I wanted to get out of it, and I knew I would quit one day, right? So I'm thinking, right, I could do it now. It could fall flat on its ass, right? And this just doesn't work out. But what's the worst that can happen? I get another job working somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know. And you're right. You learn by doing. You don't, like when the first you mentioned demonetization there. When that first like adpocalypse thing happened on YouTube and people were getting demonetized, I was like, okay, shit.
This could be
it wasn't because my channel's pretty much PG-13, right? There's some.
I don't know. There's a lot of sex innuendos recently. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm watching. Go, oof. This is getting a bit raunchy on here, isn't it?
There's some innuendos for a bit of blue for the dads, you know. But you got to keep the adults. It's like I think it's like The Simpsons, you know. There's stuff in there with like kids will enjoy it and they won't understand.
Yeah.
And I try to keep it at that level. If I do swear, like if I eat something really hot, like I did last week, and I just swear, like I'll bleep it out. So you consider that, right? But I remember when the first AdSense drama happened, I was thinking, right, well, this sucks. This could go really badly. But again, you research around it. You think, okay, what are they looking for? Oh, right, this content could be construed as this and that, and you figure out ways around it. But you got to understand the platform and stuff like that. Really,
it's so interesting, and like the fact. So obviously, the demonetization thing. You've obviously had to look at other revenue streams, and I won't go into too much detail, but obviously, I think a lot of people, like I assume you get approached by restaurants and things to, can you come do a video at our place? But naturally you need to charge for that as well because of the, but most people will completely disregard that. When we first had our conversation about, because I believe when you did the VMAX challenge, somebody had already approached you before my time to say, will you come do it? And you said it costs X amount. And they're like, fucking hell, it's so expensive. And it's like, well, no, like people just don't understand what it takes to create the video that you create every week.
The stories I could share about people, because if I understand that, so not big brands, right? If TGI Fridays or somebody like that, maybe get rid of that brand, but any big brand, right, approaches me and they say, do this for free. They should know better, right? Because they've got people working in marketing, they know what they're paying photographers, etc. But if it's a local restaurant, right, just a independently owned or a small chain, and they say, we've got this, will you come and do it? I'll say, well, thanks for the offer. It looks delicious. Really like what you're doing there. But, you know, I've got a schedule booked in. I charge quite a bit of money for production. Let's talk about it if you're up for it. This is a basic idea of my fee structure. If not, and I'm ever in the area, I'll drop by and I'll do it, you know. But if it's in, I don't know, Southampton, I'm not going to do it, you know what I mean? And if you look at what my sister, she got, I did some video at her wedding, not like really well produced, but she asked for a quote for a videographer, right? 1,500 quid for the day, right?
Yep.
I don't charge that for eating videos. And alongside that, it's probably harder for me to produce. And you're not even considering there the fact that this is going out to 500,000 subscribers. Yep. So I think what I charge is, I'm not a greedy guy, you know?
No.
But people, some people will just respond. And most people will be like, okay, you know, take it on board, thanks.
Yeah.
But then you get people, some restaurants, a place in Blackpool, I won't name them, but
fuck Blackpool, tell him.
No, I don't even know if it still exists anymore. I'm not gonna be that guy. But the guy said, it's a rip off. How can you charge that? I said, well, I've got 5 bookings this month. I can charge it because people pay, you know. And I'm not charging over the odds. I said, if you can't afford it, I wouldn't go into Tesco's and say your beans are too expensive and complain.
No.
I'd just shop somewhere else, you know. So I've got to be able to earn money from it. So.
It's super interesting. I mean, like, obviously I'm in the industry of professional video production, so I know the costs and I understand marketing and marketing departments for big companies now. And I've actually tried to, we've had messages like over the year for different clients where I thought this might fit your brand to come in. Like we ended up working with a company and they just opened like a little independent coffee and crepes sort of deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I knew your rates ish from before. And I'm like, whatever you do, if you've got this money for marketing, give it to this guy.
Because if it's via you, you should mates rates. I'll do it half price.
But like, I again, marketing, just talk marketing now. It's a completely different world from a corporate to what it is now. Like influencer marketing is the thing when you've actually got an audience. There's a lot of influencers online. I know people that have got 250,000 subscribers, but they still work at Asda. You know, whereas you're the flip side. You've got 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, 40,000 on Instagram, but you're an actual influencer. Like you've got an audience that actually watches it. There's a lot of fake influencers out there. So if you can find real influencers to endorse a product or come and create that style of content, it's worth every penny. Because you've got an audience. Like that's what most people miss, and most like all your viewers won't understand the business aspect of Beard Meats Food.
Very, very few, you know. But yeah, a lot of people. It's funny when you say, I told you before we started the podcast, right? We're looking to potentially move house, right?
Yeah.
Most my girlfriend, fiance, sorry. But we're walking around with the estate agent, this plot, right? And this woman's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" So my girlfriend's like, "Yeah, I work for a bank, you know." She said, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh God, what do I don't even know what." I'm like, I shoot videos for. And anyway, she kept asking follow-up questions. In the end, I was like, "Do you know what YouTube is?" She's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, I do that, and it's just look of pity on her face, like I'm some bum. Living in his mum's basement, and he's just making videos, and it's like people don't understand that, like, as you say, it's not only just entertainment for people. That's how people consume media now. I don't watch TV unless football's on, right? I'll go on Netflix or something like that, and little bite-sized 10-minute, 12-minute videos are what people do now. So there's value in it.
They binge them as well. Like it's funny, like. I've had similar people look at me because I actually get paid to vlog as well now. So I'm vlogging for a motorbike racing team. So I'm going every month. I go with a race team, Barrett Steel Racing, and they're paying me for a weekend to go. A good sum of money, you know, like I'm getting paid decent money to go. Film for them and create a vlog. But I'm the guy on the vlog, you know, like. So I'm having to narrate the vlog, say what's going on, film racing, do the whole production by myself. And we're like, what? You're a vlogger? And I'm like, I'm not. It's like I'm vlogging, but I'm not technically a vlogger because I ain't got a vlog. I'm like Casey Neistat. Yeah, you know, like I'm not like a vlogger, but I can do it, and I can also do the flip side, which is get a team of people to do a full video production. It's bizarre, but you should own it, man. Like it's not like it's gonna go away. Like you're pretty established. Well, in fact, you're very established.
Yeah, the only thing is that there's Article 13 pending. I don't know if you've read anything about that, but they were. I don't know how big of a deal it'll be, but the EU will be all right once we've left, right? I politics, right? I voted to remain, right, because I know the implications. But one bonus of us leaving might be that we're not subject to this thing. But anyway, the EU they're suggesting that platforms like YouTube could be fined if anything appears on that channel which isn't owned by the actual underlying person. So if I use, they have Content ID. This is really nerdy stuff, but they have Content ID which will detect if I try and upload Avengers, right? If I get a rip of that now and I try and upload it to YouTube and monetize it, so be like, "No, mate," and they'll detect it. But if that software only goes so far, right? So they can't detect. I might use a little 10-second clip that I think's funny in the middle of my videos,
which you do,
which I do, from like the in-betweeners or something, something like that. I think's appropriate to that scene, and that's fair use, right? But if YouTube can't distinguish between those two, and the government's saying that we're going to fine you, then they're just going to say, right, I don't want people in the EU to upload videos. Or if we can't physically police it, I'm sure they'll hash something out. But they put a lot on YouTube actually recently, asking people to write letters to the local MP and stuff. You should read about it if you don't know about it.
Yeah, no, I'll have to do a bit of research into that.
It's things like that. But ultimately, if I ever get worried about something like that, I always think online video content now is one of the most valuable commodities there is. So unless I do something stupid like PewDiePie or something, start saying racist stuff on camera or something like that, I'll be all right.
I think you're very safe, you're clever, you're very articulate. Like, what were you went to uni, didn't you?
Yeah,
Am I right thinking what you do? Did you English?
English literature, and I did a master's
before.
in. My entire life's just been a pursuit of useless things. It was like English literature, and then I did a master's in 20th century fiction, just because I was good at it, not because I really liked books or anything. I barely even read anymore.
But that's it. Like, obviously, easy for people to judge. Oh, you're just a YouTuber, but like, you're so intelligent, you're very articulate, you're creating these professional videos, and without a shadow of doubt, even if it all went away tomorrow, you could still make a living creating videos for companies.
I
you know,
hope so. Yeah.
it's funny. Right, so let's sort of delve into some of your challenges then, because like this is what you're known for. I want to know, Eddie Hall. How come you're best mates with Eddie Hall now? Like, what's going on there?
He just actually, that reminds me. I think he just texted me before we came on air. You don't mind if I check it?
Yeah, no, check away. He's
I think I'm lying now. This is staged, but no, look, check. You see it there?
Yo, Adam.
That could just be anyone called Eddie Hall, but it's not. The reason why. I'll text him back later. I'll let him stew for a while.
Yeah.
But because he ages and ages ago when my videos were terrible, right? I did his entire daily diet for like a bit of a video, right? It was a well-performing video at the time as well. And credit to him, he engages with a lot of his fans and stuff. And somebody had sent my video, or maybe a few people had tagged him in this video. And he ended up messaging me, and he said, "Love the video, mate. I'd love to get together and do something again, or do something with you in future if you're up for it." I was like, "Yeah, of course, mate. I follow, I watch World's Strongest Man stuff all the time." So, anyway, about a year later, a few months ago actually, he just texted me. He said, "I'm doing this thing, a bit of a pilot, because now he's retired from competing in World's Strongest Man.
He's
He's
pretty
doing
shredded as well. He's got lost a bit of timber.
yeah, he's lost tons of weight, but he's like, I'm filming this thing potentially for a pilot. I'm not going to spoil it because I think he was trying to pursue a TV show. But he said, yeah, we want to make it a bit like Man vs. Food. So he said, do you want to come down and eat with me? We'll have like a bit of a contest. You can teach me some stuff. So I did that, and then I think I don't think it's a secret now. He put it on Instagram. He's been filming this show in America, and I think he's had me online as consultant. If he's ever been like, Dad, what shall I do? I want to eat this quick. I want to eat that. What techniques can I use? I was teaching him how to eat chicken wings like a pro and stuff like that.
I remember seeing that on a video actually.
Yeah.
When you got the chicken wing and you popped it through. Yeah.
You just
skin him like
umbrella the chicken wing. But he was blown away by that. He's like, oh, I've been eating them wrong my entire life. But yeah, it's cool to be to get to hang out with Eddie sometimes.
Because you've done a couple of videos with him as well, haven't you? You did another one in Leeds where you did a challenge, then went into Leeds Centre, got a crowd together and did the Krispy Kreme. That
was such a laugh. It was. I would never do that by myself because I know what it's like. Even if I go to restaurants now, people don't know me, right? No. I'm not an actual famous person. So,
yeah, you are.
So I go to a restaurant, right? And I'd love to go to. Say I go to TGI Fridays. I'd love to come and just film a video here with some of your food. I'm going to pay for it all. I don't want anything free. Yeah. Just want your permission to let me film because some restaurants are weird about it. And, most of the time it's fine. But I would never do something like that in public, right? Because I just think somebody's going to turn up and be like, right, stop filming, wrecked my video. But yeah, Eddie's just like, I beat him at this eating challenge we did at Almost Famous, one of my favourite restaurants in Leeds. And he's like, oh yeah, I want to go again. I'm like, really, Eddie? Because you're probably pretty full at this point, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
So let's go to Krispy Kreme. We'll get 3 donuts each. I said, I'm not going to Krispy Kreme. I'm buying 3 donuts. I said, fuck off, man. We'll get a dozen each, right? And see what happens. Yeah, but then we amassed this huge crowd in the middle of just outside WH Smith in Leeds, and I trashed him again.
It's so funny because like, obviously, some people have met you, some people just watch you on YouTube. But obviously, when we met and you did that challenge the first time, I'd never seen anybody beat the VMAX challenge, I don't think, until that point. 6-ounce burgers. So you're talking a lot of food there. Not by your standards, but by a human standards.
Most normal people.
Like, no way I'd ever be able to eat it. And you smashed it out disgustingly, which like most of your videos. Like, I just disclaimer, my missus, when I put it on, I'm watching your videos on TV, and missus is like, this is fucking disgusting. What's wrong with this guy? I'm just like...
It's true, yeah. I can't argue with that.
When you've got all your beer. But you finished this challenge, and then we're like, oh, can I have a dessert? And we were like, yeah, good one, dude. And he's like, nah, seriously, can I have like a eclair or something? You fucking had a dessert.
That was it, an eclair, yeah.
What's wrong with you? Like, how the fuck did you do it? Like, what happens for you to be able to get to a point where you can eat that much food?
It's just like, to get to the point I'm at now is a lot of practice, which means, I've been doing this as a hobbyist even in the beginning for like a good 3.5, 4 years now. So, you just kind of eat progressively larger meals. I've always had like a big appetite, right?
Yeah.
But when you get to the point that it's essentially a job, to me, I film twice twice a week, right? Which is pretty much enough to maintain a large capacity. But it's just like an elastic band. If you've got that old soggy elastic band and you draw at home, it's like you stretch it out enough times, it gets to the point where it's just like it's not. It still stretches.
You can make reference to something else.
Yeah, like I would if it was one of my videos. But yeah, it's just kind of a practice thing. But I think a lot of people don't see what goes into it, because a lot of people watch, especially at contests, like elite level professional contests. It's like any other sport, and I'm not one of these guys that is a big proponent of competitive eating as a sport, but it's fun to watch, and it takes a lot of skill and practice and training. So it's one of those things that you got to work on how much you can fit inside you. So like inside your stomach.
PG-13.
So there's that, that's the easy part almost. It's not pleasant sometimes, but you're eating a lot of food. And then there's stuff like technique, eating chicken wings. You can't just pick at them like that.
Time for that.
Speed, you have to suppress certain instincts. To like, I'm one of the slower competitive eaters, believe it or not. Like when compared to others.
Well, yeah, if you watch that when you came fourth in that competition, you can see there's obviously a big difference between you and
the best. People that comment on Facebook, like, after that, a lot of people are like, fourth, you might as well retire. It's like, this is like an English guy, like going over and not quite make it to the Super Bowl, but still playing quarterback for like, I don't know, a team that didn't make it past the playoffs. Yeah. It's like being Harry Kane instead of Cristiano Ronaldo. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's like you still enjoy the competition, you're still good, but to get to that proper elite level, it takes a lot of sacrifice. And for me, I'm not out there, every week. I don't really want to be flying out there 12 times a year to compete. And if I can't do that, then I can't be the best. But you could just try and
get Do they fly you out, or is it off your own back?
It's off my own back. Major League Eating, they only pay for basically like your top three to actually fly out. But when I was with All Pro Eating, credit to them, they used to always fly me out there, which was great of them. But I think with Major League Eating, they don't seem to understand the draw, of a YouTuber, because they're pretty old school. Like a lot of competitive eaters are competitive eaters, right? And like, so Joey Chestnut, he has a YouTube channel, but he barely uploads to it. So he makes his money from sponsors, from prize money, etc. Whereas, so he won't bring. Maybe he'll bring a crowd which is equal to mine, even though he's a far better eater than me. Yeah. Because people want to come watch me eat because I'm just on YouTube, They know me. Whereas there are a lot of kind of middle of the road, really good competitive eaters that don't do anything on YouTube, and they're not really that much. They might get paid to go there because they're really good, but they're not as much of a draw to the crowd.
Which is bizarre. Like, I mean, we're in that social media. It's a currency now. I believe it's going to be a massive currency going forward. Amount of followers you've got, like, it is vanity metrics, but if you've got an audience, you can sell to them.
I like that, vanity metrics.
It's vanity metrics, but if you do genuinely, if you've got an audience, you can sell to them, and then that's modern marketing. Like podcasting, radio's dying. I know that for a fact. So some of my clients now, I've literally like told some of my clients, stop paying for radio advertising on like Pulse or Capital, and put it into podcasts. You'll pay a quarter of what you pay for that a month, and you'll get a guaranteed audience. Like these guys, so like Ben's in corner here, he's got the Talking Shut podcast, Leeds United podcast. They'll nail on the head. They'll do between 3,000 and 5,000 people get on that stream on a Tuesday night. Yeah. That's an isolated audience. And then you've got readouts, so you can have like a pre-roll sponsorship, mid-roll sponsorship. Or you can have like your logo coming up on the screen for the stream. Yeah. And that's 5,000 people in Leeds that care about Leeds United that you can sell to. So like we've got like Sandal Auto, they're main sponsors for them, and that's way cheaper than what it costs to go onto a radio show. So this is good. This is the future, like podcasting, and I mean, fucking hell, if you started a podcast, that'd go viral.
Well, I think a lot of people don't they don't see that. A lot of people are still kind of stuck in that archaic mentality. And if you can, like you say, it's not, when you say sell to people, it's not like if I do an ad right on YouTube, which I've done a few of, a lot of them I knock back, pre-roll advertising when people ask me, because they're not like in line, or they're telling me to say something which isn't true or something like that. But if you get some, like a beard oil company, I did one at Christmas, they were like, can we send you this thing? It's like a proper, it was a really expensive set of beard oil. Give it a try, and we'll pay you for like a little placement at the beginning. You don't have to say anything that's BS. Yeah. Just, mention the brand to put our website in there. So that's in line with I'm not telling people to buy it. I'm saying full disclosure, they've sponsored this video. They just want to get out there. Yep. I actually quite like this product. That one was a bit naff, but go try them out. So if you can make it organic and stuff like that, but you'll still get people that say, "Oh, I sell out," you're putting ads on your videos. It's like, I disabled the rest of the ads. Not the normal. If anything, you can skip this ad. You can't skip the other ones. But if you can do it organically,
that's the problem. Though. Like we've got sponsors for this podcast. It's a bit of a weird one because like all our sponsors came in on the back of the MMA show, which is part of this podcast. So we've got like but they're only companies that we've got 2 sponsors. One is a physiotherapist, muscle medicine, and he looks after our fight team down at AVT. So he's got UFC fighters on the roster. He's looked after me when my sciatica flared up and I couldn't walk.
Try and sound older. You sound like a 90-year-old.
I felt like one. I'm only like 26 and I couldn't even get out of bed. So he's one of our sponsors. And then we've got another company, which is a CBD oil company, which like I've never used it before. Like they gave us some to try it out. Like if you like it, we'll sponsor you. So they put a bit of money in. And it just helps like run the show.
Yeah.
Same for you. Like you've got to.
That's all it is.
Pay your mortgage and whatnot.
That's what people don't see. Is like if I ever do a paid sponsorship of my videos, it's quite rare that I do them anyway. Yeah. But any kind of ad that you do, you're not some people might be doing them because they're greedy, right? If you're Kim Kardashian or something, and you're taking like 40 grand to advertise a dress from wherever, Prada. Some pretty good fashion knowledge actually. I don't know where that came from, but
this is in the back of your brain.
I'm not taking. I'm taking it so that I can next month. I want to buy an 85mm G Master lens, because it's going to make the video better for you. You're going to see the food in more detail. It's going to. I honestly, the amount of money I take from my channel after my bills are done is zero.
Yeah.
I bought. Speaking of MMA, I bought UFC 3 for the Xbox. I don't game much, but I bought it just for banter. I thought, I'll beat some people up on my Xbox. That's the only luxury purchase I think I've made in the past, apart from the 180 quid egg that I bought for one of my videos. But yeah, I don't. It all goes back into my channel. That's pretty much it. You've got to do that anyway because you don't know what your tax bill's going to be. Self-employed. So
yeah. Well, that's it. You are building a business. Most people don't see that. I think it's fascinated me. Like I love it. Like seeing the other side of it because I think people need to know like what it takes to be a YouTuber. Like for me, this whole like content creation world, it's the future. It's going to be the future, and I'm like wholly invested in it. Like I'm doing video production. I've got a podcast studio. Like I said, I'm moving into a new space where we're going to have a film studio, and it's going to be legit. I want to have a creative space where people can sort of try make it, or just at least fucking.
Yeah, it's cool because there aren't that many people that. Like, if I try to have this conversation with even one of my mates, they'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to talk about, but yeah, a lot of people don't know all the ins and outs of it. And yeah, even things like filming, I'll definitely be down at that studio if you ever
100%, yeah.
If you have a creative space, but I'll try not to make that much of a mess.
We'll be over
I'm messy.
It's what it is. We'll get Hoover out, we'll get a mop.
But yeah, it's tricky. There's so many like facets of what you could discuss about, like from filming, editing, planning stuff, and
because there's just you. That's it.
Well, me and my girlfriend, she's I pretty much I've started paying her a little wage now.
Yeah.
Like, she'll be like, I think we had a bit of an argument like a few months ago, and she was like, "Look, are you telling me that more people don't watch your videos now I'm in them?" I'm like, no, actually, more people, maybe 5% do. A lot of people really love you being in them. It's banter. She's like, well, go on then, you need to pay me some more money, don't you? I'm not doing any more videos unless you pay me 100 quid a month. I was like, I said it half jokingly, but I was like, yeah, all right.
You're a lot serious, isn't that?
Yeah, so... But,
does she enjoy being in the videos then?
She does now.
Yeah.
So she kind of likes it now. That's why she started like an Instagram account and stuff.
Yeah.
She sees, because she's really, really self-conscious. She won't mind me saying that, my fiance. She's like cripplingly self-conscious. She's like the opposite of me.
Right, okay.
So like she would, when I upload videos, she is in, and I would do this maybe a year ago. She'd scroll through the comments and see all the mean shit people say. Some stuff that people say on YouTube is just horrific. To me, that makes no difference to me. But to her, it would really affect her. And I think like after I told her this analogy one time, I said, look, we have we're much more comfortable now, aren't we? I have a job that I like, so I'm not miserable all the time. I said, so if somebody said to you, I'll give you a pager, and on that pager, an insult's going to pop up every 5 minutes. You can choose whether to read it or not.
Yeah.
And in exchange for that, you're going to have a life that you love and that you dream. It's a cliche, but you wake up every morning thinking, right, what am I going to film today? What am I going to plan today? What would I love to do?
Yeah.
Would you do it? And she's like, oh yeah. And I think ever since I said that to her, she's like, yeah, okay, cool. So she likes being in them. The only thing she doesn't like is when I'm like, oh yeah, we can't go on a date night tonight because I'm eating like 10,000 calories tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, she enjoys it. I think anyone that's in the videos, my sister was in one a few
I
weeks
saw
ago.
that. Yeah.
And she was similar. She was a bit self-conscious and stuff, but she enjoyed being in it, and she read some of the comments. She was just laughing at them, but yeah.
It's funny, innit? I mean, like the comments, unless you've made videos like regular, like I suppose we both have now, you do stop really giving a fuck. But it's weird actually being on video, but like creating a video with somebody that's not used to being on video, because they go like introvert.
Yeah, they change the entire personality.
Yeah.
Like I'm as not. This is how I am on camera. Right?
Yeah,
There might
yeah.
be some certain words that I don't use. Like I wouldn't say proper that much because American audience would be like, "What?
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
you talking about?" But yeah, I'm by and large the same. But some people they'll be like rehearsing lines and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Just act natural, you know.
Start
That's what
panicking and
people
shut
want
off.
to say. Yeah, yeah.
But to be fair, you get numb to it, don't you? Like you'll be
Yeah,
so like it's so natural now. It's practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just that you are a different person when you've got the camera in front of you. You've got to be, because you can't, if you're having a bad day. Like my dad died a few months ago.
Yeah, sorry to. I remember.
I mean,
we were
you
messaging
said
back
it's-
and forth, didn't we?
Yeah, he said, I'm honestly, the amount of like people commented saying, I'm really sorry. It was just, that was really one of the moments, I think, a watershed moment. I thought, wow, this is how nice people can be.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that week, maybe I had 4 days when I was just, didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, I've got to get back on the grind. It's my job, I've got to do it. And I had something planned with, I can't remember the restaurant. I had something planned with the restaurant I had to do. And I can't go on camera and be like crying. Nobody wants to watch that.
No,
so
no.
you just switch on. You're like, right, let's be positive. Let's try and entertain people today. So you're a bit different, but
Yeah.
by and large, you try and remain natural.
That's it. You just got to. I mean, like for you there, obviously, like I couldn't imagine what worse going through, but it is just you and it is your business. Like that's as tough as it is. Like you are self-employed, and without YouTube and your videos, that's your income, and life would get a lot worse if you were on streets. And it's just a.
It's like any other kind of self-employment though. It's like it's easy to get scared by it, I think, and think I don't want to do it. I mean, a lot of people email me or message me. They'll be like, right, I want to start making money from YouTube, and you're like, don't go at it with that.
Yeah.
That should be a goal, but
That's so cliche that you say that though, because like most creators are saying like, don't think about making money. Amount of people that say to me, right, I'm gonna set up a YouTube channel. When can I monetize it? I'm like, mate, mine's not even monetized. Like, I've got a few channels and I've not since GemSpeed. I've not even attempted to scale it to the point where I can monetize it. So for starters, you've not done the research to know how many subscribers you need to monetize it, and then how many views do you need to even make it worth your while. Like you're gonna quit before then. So like,
precisely, yeah. You can't go in with that kind of attitude. It's like it's a bonus if you get to that level, and very few people do. But you can. I mean, and even if it's not YouTube, there's, like I just said earlier, I mean, video creation is one of the most valuable commodities there is. So you can get into it, but you don't want to get into it with the mindset that it is a job.
No.
Because like those weeks for me when I feel like it's a job are the worst. It's still a good job. I'm not complaining, but it's one of those weeks where I'm not creating good content because I'm looking at this like, oh, I've got to go down to London today and film this video at a place I don't really want to eat at and stuff like that. So yeah, you can kind of take your eye off the ball. But
So going back to the actual eating aspect, then I loved Man vs Food when it came out. Everyone loved it, but like all my questions I never got answered. Like if I wanted like that Adam Richman to do like a Q&A where he went, right, so for me before I did this hot wings challenge, or before I did this, consume this huge amount of food challenge, I did this. So I'm gonna ask you. I want to know what the fuck gets involved. If you sit there, right, I'm gonna do 14 pounds worth of burger or whatever, like a massive amount of food. What leading up to that do you need to do? Like, and then the implications thereafter. So I'm gonna do hot wings after that, or
that's what
the
people,
devil's toe. Like I know you've made like reference to it on your videos, but I want some fucking details here. Like what's going on?
Well, I suppose you separate that into a few different points. So first of all, everyone has, like an athlete would, right? I don't want to keep comparing it to a sport, but like an athlete would, you have like a bit of a ritual. So like if I'm going to do something serious, right? If I go do the VMAX burger we were talking about, that's £5 maybe, something like that. To me, to you, that's a lot of food. To me, that's nothing. So I wouldn't do any special prep for that. Yeah. And a lot of my videos, I don't do any kind of special preparation for. Yeah. But if I'm going into the World Croquette Eating Championships, where I'm going against like top level, I didn't do much practice for it, but I do some preparation. So like I wake up in the morning, I want everyone, if anyone's listening to this, I hope people listen to it, but people that are listening, do not try and replicate this because it's really dangerous. But I'll wake up in the morning and I'll neck like a gallon of water as fast as I can, which most people couldn't do because it's like more than your stomach can. So I'll do that in the morning. That'll kind of clear me out a little bit for any food that's in the previous day, and it'll get like a bit of a stretch in my stomach. So it's not, because your stomach is essentially the size of a fist.
Yep.
right? And although it may stretch, you kind of want it to be a bit baggy before you go into a contest, you know. So I'll do that, and then it'll just be a question of I won't eat anything obviously through a day before a contest or anything like that, or even like if I'm doing a big food challenge. There are a few in England that are quite large. There aren't many that I would find hard, but maybe a few that are 8-9 pounds, which should take a bit of effort, you know. So I'll do that, and then probably I try not to eat too late in the day because like you're gonna be knackered, right, from not eating.
Yeah.
And I'll just have some coffee, like that's what I've got now because I'm not eating anything today. So yeah, that's the preamble, right? But then afterwards, people always want to know what that aftermath is. It's bad, right? You feel gross, you feel terrible, but you can't really do anything specific to kind of help with that. And it's worse with certain foods than others. Like I just try and drink a lot of water because the only time you're gonna get anything bad happening as a result is if you're not properly hydrated and you start getting constipated and disgusting and stuff like that, which has happened before. But yeah, it's just a question of just sucking it up, you know. Like I like to be active. Day after, I'll go to the gym if I can move, you know. It's not too much. I'll go to the gym later in the day or just go for a walk, you know, get the old bowels moving, and then just drink plenty of water, you know, and you feel like bloated, you know, and you look bloated because of all this. It's not so much the amount of food that you're eating; it's the amount of sheer, you know, salt, the extra glycogen in you, and all that. But yeah, like, as you alluded to there, that usually the worst ones are the spicy ones, which I try and avoid. But
oh mate, I can't. I don't know how people can do it. Yeah, you know what? A challenge. Have you seen Hot Ones with Sean Evans? Where this?
No, I've never seen.
Have you not seen?
No.
What?
No, I've never seen
It's
it.
like one of the biggest YouTube channels out. It's they do like interviews.
Yeah.
But with hot wings, so like the graded hot wings, so they go from like mild up to extremely hot. And they interview celebrities and they ask them questions. They eat hot wings as they go up like the ladder.
Yeah.
And obviously as they get hotter, the celebrities' guard get dropped because they're just like mind blown that it's so hot.
I've never seen that. I need to watch that. It's weird that I've not heard of that.
Gordon
actually.
Ramsay's one, like, so they've been trying to, like, for years they've been trying to get Gordon Ramsay on, and he finally went on this season. It's like season 8 and got fucking 10 million views overnight. Like, it would just. But what we're gonna get onto, it'd be good for you to go on it. Like, I reckon you'll get to I reckon you get in there where you'll be in the realms of being a guest.
I want to get an invitation to Soccer Aid. You know, you see that's coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I haven't played for years, so I'd be terrible. But I'm like, yeah, get me on one of those. Or like, I'm a celebrity, get me out of it. And I'd never go on that. But
Soccer Aid, definitely. Like,
I'd love to do that. Yeah. That'd be good. Especially because I had like Boris Johnson on one year, right?
Yeah.
And I was alright. I was decent. Not like
that'd be so, you need like a PR agent. You need like, this is where we need to scale Beard Meats Food. We need.
That's the thing, is a lot of people, even like eating people and other social personalities. I hate using the word influencer, even not that I'm criticizing you for using it, but I just hate that word. You know, as there's sort of baggage attached to it. But even lower level people, they'll be like, yeah, I've got an agent, and I'm like, what? Because I don't have any of that. I don't have a network on YouTube. In fact, I got into an argument with a guy this morning about who was talking about his network, and I was like, why would I give you my AdSense revenue? You know?
Yeah.
But so I don't have any of that. But maybe I need an agent. If any agents listening, and hook me up with stuff like that. But
just be okay. That probably is what's next to scale. Is because obviously you're doing your whole management, your booking, your filming, eating, editing. Somebody to take a bit of weight off, even just like an assistant, just be like, listen, let's get some feelers out.
Yeah.
What can we do? You know.
A lot of people don't do it that way as well. If you look at, when I think of the eating space or that genre on YouTube, you got like Furious Pete, Matt Stone, all the big guys are with networks, you know. And that's always been something I've just resisted. And you get emails, even when I had like 2,000 subscribers, you would get emails from networks saying, "Oh, join the," and they're essentially taking a cut of your AdSense revenue, and some of them control it, like they actually access and they pay you out of it, and it's like. Why would you ever do that? You know, it's one thing for somebody to broker a deal. If you approach me and say, "Oh, I've got Coca-Cola or something, want you to chug 8 liters of Coke for Christmas?" Yeah, cool. And you take a cut, and then I take a cut, and then everyone's happy. But I think YouTube's one of those spaces that people do try and exploit a bit. But
that's the business in it. Like that's the business side of it.
You'd be surprised how many people don't actually do it like I do. You know, I'm a bit of a hermit, so I'm kind of closed off. I don't like the idea of people controlling what I'm doing. So, but as a result, I think I'm not certain of it, but I think I get the feeling that people that are signed up to certain reputable networks get pushed a bit on YouTube. Because I've seen people that I know have joined the network, and then all of a sudden they've gone from 100,000 views to 600,000 a week, and it's like, but there's an element of trade off there. You don't know how much they're giving up.
No, no. I mean, it's all business, isn't it? Like YouTube's a business, like there's ads everywhere. Like there's a reason. I mean, obviously we're getting into like proper politics of it. There's a reason for it, isn't there? So the aftermath of you need to check out Hot Ones. I'll send you a link. The aftermath. I cannot imagine what goes through a human like having to eat the devil's toe or the pakwe.
How do
you pronounce that?
I think you pronounce it the other way, but I try not to, given that we're in England.
Yeah.
it's the Pakwe, PACQUI.
Yeah.
One chip. So that was it. Yeah, that was 2 million Scovilles. So that was, and I honestly, like, KFC hot wings are hot to me. People think I'm lying when I say that. They're not. I hate hot food. I mean, I can eat it, but I don't enjoy it. So I did that. That was the first spicy one I did on my channel because people have been asking me for ages. So I did that, and then I kind of ramped it up a little bit too soon. I did the Toe of Satan, which was 9 million Scovilles.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Couldn't do it. Like, you just have to hold. You don't even have to eat it. You just hold it in your mouth. And it's a lollipop, right?
The slaver that comes out.
Yeah, that you can't control your mouth. So it was.
And then you had that manky.
I did the Death Nut, which was.
Yeah.
That I actually did that. That's I think, is that 9 million or 10 million Scovilles or something. I did that, but. Sneak preview, I just filmed one last week, right? It's probably the last spicy challenge I'm ever going to do, because I did this thing called Johnny Scoville's Tube of Terror, which is as bad as it sounds. It's basically a tube full of nuts like that. Maybe it's like 20 nuts in there, like a packet of KP or something, right?
Yeah.
But they're all covered in, like, I think it's 14 million Scoville, like, this extract, right? I think that's pretty much as hot as you can go without it being, pure, I don't know, like napalm or something,
Yeah.
And I thought, they're good for me because what gets me in the mindset to do that is I'm thinking, right, it's going to be less editing work, right? It's 10 minutes of me eating.
Yeah.
I don't have to, so it's going to be a quick win this week, right? I'll do that. People will love it. It's a bit different. So I did it, and I was like, I'll be all right this. So I've got Lindsay there. She's watching me, and I ate I ate the tube, and I'm like, right, it's really hot. It's painful. But then you have to survive like a 5-minute afterburn, and I'm like, it's all right. And then, like, my left arm goes numb. And I'm like, all right, I'm having a stroke here or what? Like, your ears are ringing. It's hard to explain to somebody who's never done it. Your ears are ringing so loud.
They say that you get a high. They say that you get, like, an actual high.
Yeah, you get a bit of it. It's kind of like a euphoric feeling, but in a really bad way.
Yeah.
And your ears are ringing. You can't hear stuff. And then you start thinking, like, I can't actually feel my skin and weird, trippy stuff like that. And this fire at the back of my throat was getting so bad. I was like, right, I've done the Death Nut, so I should be a veteran now. Yeah. But I honestly, I bail out. Nobody will hear it before you put it up. But I bail out like after 2 minutes. And honestly, every spicy challenge I've done in the past, I've drank milk, and after about 2 minutes, it's gone right. Still feels a bit gross, but it's gone right. And I drank this, honestly, it was getting worse and worse. So nothing I could do. So I was eating like spoonfuls of sugar. I was chewing on soggy pieces of bread.
Is this all recorded?
Yeah, it's the video's quality because you can actually see it in my face. Like, I'm actually panicking. I'm thinking, I might need to call an ambulance. I'm probably going to die. And I'm like, it's so bad. The video, the eating is about 5 minutes. It goes on for like 20 minutes because I'm just like, But I survived, as you can tell. But the day after is bad as well because that coming out elicits a similar reaction. But
I can't even imagine.
The other hole, on the toilet, it's like, stomach cramps as well.
Yeah.
I said to my fiance, I'm like, I imagine this is what pregnancy feels like, and she's like, no. And I'm like, no, I bet it does. I bet this is as bad because these cramps are just uncontrollable in your stomach.
Like, obviously, we don't want to see you on the toilet, but I kind of do want to see you on the toilet. Like, I feel like that's the flip side of what, like, when we watch Man vs. Food. Like back in the day, I wanted to know what the fuck happened to him the day after because like I've had it before. If you have like, and I'm the worst. Like I'll get a sweat on with like some heat wave Doritos. Like I can't eat spicy food. We're probably on par. And I've like been almost in tears on the toilet the day after for like a dodgy, like a slightly warm curry. I'm like in tears on toilet, like pissing out my ass. I'm like, oh no. So I can't even imagine what the fuck you go through at 14 million Scovilles.
It's just. It is almost indescribable. I like to think I've got away with words, but it's just like, it's the cramps as well. It's not it coming out of you. I don't want to get too mechanical about it, but as it's coming out of your other end, it's painful, right? It stings like a hot curry would, but it's like there's this sense of cramping, where there's like a knot in your stomach, and it's just like something just doesn't go away. Like imagine getting cramp in your arm or your leg, right, and that just not leaving you. So you just sit there thinking, what am I doing with my life? That's the only time I ever question it, really. But
so, what other implications have you had from? I think when we spoke about it before, when we met last time, I asked about like heavy sugar challenges.
Yeah.
Obviously, like as bodies, like for starters, as bodies not really built to be taking a gallon of water in. You can literally drown yourself.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of all your electrolytes and you drown and die.
Yeah.
And then high sugar, obviously diabetes is a thing.
Yeah.
So the insulin spikes and all this sort of stuff going on. What other problems have you had from?
I haven't really had any. I mean, I get regular blood work done like every quarter of the year.
Yeah.
So I get.
Well, you just go to GP and
I get like pay like you can't really do that. You
Right.
could be sly and go to your GP and say, "Oh, I don't really feel well. Can you give me a blood test?" But I just pay for it like I've like a private blood test done.
Yeah.
And they're fairly reasonable now. But I just get a profile done of all the things I need to know. I don't need to know if I've got low test or something.
yeah.
But
Get on TRT like Joe Rogan.
yeah, maybe that would help me put on some size. I don't know, but yeah, and they come back all right, and it's because I think people they see. Basically, they see me eat for 1 hour of a 168-hour week. You know, if you think 2 videos, usually about half an hour of eating on both of them. So it's the stuff that goes into outside that. So yeah, I'm not saying it's healthy for you to eat vast, kilos of sugar or fat or salt or anything. But if you know enough about nutrition outside that, then you mitigate the effects of that by A, exercising, B, like if I eat today, I'm doing some big eating tomorrow, so I'll have a tuna salad and some cottage cheese, and that'll be it.
Yep.
Right, and I'll drink plenty of water and stuff like that. So the issues with health come with like chronic abuse of it, and there are some other eating channels and people do this kind of thing who are doing it too frequently, in my opinion. When I look at it, and I like to think two a week for me is sustainable right now. But if my doctor says, right, you got to stop this altogether, I'd have to stop.
Yep.
Or if you said, take it easy, I'd probably just have to reduce the amount of videos I upload. But
I think it's the balance. Obviously, you've struck a nice balance of a healthy lifestyle and then the odd like 2 bad meals a week, which is more than most, because most people have a unhealthy lifestyle, eat pretty shit, and then they'll have the takeaways and the beer and everything on a weekend. So like, obviously, you've managed to strike a nice balance there, but it's crazy, man. Like
some things that you mentioned sugar. That's
yeah
the most dangerous thing. I once ate 13 pints of Ben and Jerry's, right? Because Matt Stoney, who's a lot of people know, maybe people listening to the podcast won't know, but he's probably the most famous competitive eater on YouTube, certainly. Yeah. It has like ridiculous amounts of views, but he did 12 pints. I thought, if there's one thing I can beat Matt Stoney at, I'm gonna do more pints of Ben and Jerry's. I did 13, so I did. But afterwards, I don't know how much sugar it was, but I remember afterwards, I got up off my chair where I've been eating, right, and my quads, they just went into cramp to the point that I actually fell to the floor and couldn't get up for like, I'm not joking, for like 20 minutes. They were just like in constant cramp, as if you just run a marathon or something.
Did you panic?
At first I was like, okay, I've had cramps in my arms and stuff before when eating high sugar things, because it's how your body reacts, but never to the point that it's been debilitating, right? And I'm literally sat on the floor and I was shouting Liz. I was like, Liz, oh, I'm on the floor, I can't move. And she's like, oh yeah, you're an idiot. She didn't really help me.
No,
but
you can see that. Like when you did the what did you call it? The devil? What's
Satan's toe?
Satan's toe.
Yeah.
When she brought you the manky eggnog. And you're like, get a smell. She's like,
it'd been like next to the fridge, out, not even in the fridge for like 6 days or something. I would have drank it, to be fair, I think, to just like quell the fire. But yeah, that I try not to do things that are heavy on sugar often at all. I'll do them now and then. Like when I eat for Easter, I ate a lot of chocolate. But yeah, that's the only thing that really makes me feel like I'm in danger.
Do you ever feel like you're going to run out of stuff to do, or do you feel like it's just an endless?
No, I don't think so. I think there are limitations. You don't want to repeat the same content, but at the same time, you look at a lot of the channels that exist, and I would say most of them produce content which is much less varied than mine. You don't want to vary it too much to the point that I've thought about starting second channels again. We'll get nerdy here, but like you can start a second channel if you want to do other things. Like if I wanted to just purely do vlogging or something like that, or talk about football or something else that I like, then I would do a second channel. But you need to have sufficient variety that it is entertaining. But most people watching from the outside in, if I did like a cycle of Burger King, KFC, Pizza Hut, Domino's, and repeated that, people would probably still watch. It's just the in there you want to be more. Well,
that's it. I mean, like, I think we might have spoke about this last year when I spoke to you about vlogging, and obviously you've started to get a little bit of a vloggy style. You know, obviously doing like in the car with Lindsay, that style just adds a little bit of sort of dips your toe into the vlogging world before you go back to the, because you've got to stay in your lane, because you've got 500,000 people that have subscribed for one reason, and that is it. You know, so obviously dipping your toe, but if you veer too far away. Oh, I imagine the uproar is like massive.
You can tell it is like it's a bit like, I don't look at it as an experiment from the outside in, but I kind of look at it like when I started doing I called that little mini series the backseat blowout, where I get in the back of the because I'm like, right, I don't have to do any B-roll. I just eat food, and like I'll just let Lindsay, just because she's quirky, she's really weird, she says odd stuff, and I'm like, I don't have to edit much here at all. So I started doing that, and I thought like, will people like this? I'll make it fast food, so people are like, oh yeah, McDonald's, we want to see people eat tons of that. But I know that gets fewer views than something that's more my wheelhouse, things that I normally do. But it's good to do that to see how much people are prepared to kind of go with you on stuff. So, there's an element of you have to get variety. I don't think I would ever run out of stuff, because I think there are always new themes and stuff. I'm always on the lookout for, when I've always wanted to do Conor McGregor, right? When he fought Floyd Mayweather the first time, all that social media hype, I thought if I could find his daily diet and do it, that's instant 500,000 views. I know it, and I saw these flaky ones online where they were like, oh yeah, eats a bit
totally
of
made it up.
avocado.
Just for reference, by the way, if you're just listening, in my studio I've got a 5 foot by 5 foot canvas, like hand painted canvas of Conor McGregor, and another one of Casey Neistat. Which you know what Casey Neistat is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, but fucking everybody by the sounds of it. People come in like, who's that? And I'm like, you fucking kidding me? So like most people don't know any YouTubers, so I'm like, fuck it, whatever. So I've got Casey Neistat on one wall and Conor McGregor on another.
Yeah, I don't really watch much of Casey's stuff anymore, but I watch his stuff when I feel a bit not down with filmmaking, but when I'm not as enthused, and I'm like
stagnant.
Yeah, I'm like, right, what do I watch? I'll watch a bit of Casey, and he'll do some really cool little miniatures, like almost you don't notice it, something mad with his edit, and I'll be like, all right, I love that little bit of B-roll on the skateboard going through New York.
Yep.
Right, I'm not going to do that because I can't skateboard. But although I do want to buy a one wheel for some reason. But I just want to, right, how can I do something a bit tricky like that to make me get excited about doing a video, you know? So, Casey's
That's interesting you say that. Like, where else do you pull inspiration? Do you ever watch Peter McKinnon?
I was just going to say, you need another...
I know.
Yeah, I do love Peter McKinnon's stuff, and I credit a lot of my videos getting better with watching some of his stuff, because it...
Do you edit on Premiere? Or do you
Final Cut Pro. Yeah, I don't use Premiere.
I'm not shocked, but like I'm in like I do professional video production for companies, and I edit it on Final Cut. On Final Cut. Yeah. But the industry standards like Premiere. Yeah,
you can do more with Premiere from what I see, but you got to think like how much of a trade off is it for you to then learn every single thing you can do. Yeah. I know if I'm on Final Cut Pro, I could do all the shortcuts and stuff like that, and its shortcomings aren't so bad that you can't get a plugin to do what Premiere does, if that makes sense.
I completely agree.
So it gets a bad rap, but I love Final Cut Pro.
That's so interesting. So I've been watching your videos and thinking, I wonder if he edits on Premiere, because like, I get nerdy and I start like picking apart your edit, and I'm watching and I'm listening to like the sound effects and like little transitions, and there's a lot to it. And like obviously when you go cartoony, when you throw the calorie count on and it goes rock music, whoa, shakes and then drops back in. And like, I just like watching, which most people probably just take for granted. They just watch a fucking video, don't they? But
yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash, because I like that. I almost like that. I don't want to look like I'm taking myself too seriously, if that makes sense. So I like the little cut-ins of clips from films and stuff where I'm mocking myself or whatever. And the kind of cartoonish graphics sometimes. But then when I do the series I do during the week, which is normally when I'm out, at restaurants rather than just at my dining table, I call that the Chronicles of Beard. I don't know why, but I'm out and about. I try and make that a bit more involved with the scene. So like I want to. That's where I put a lot of my I want to do this with a B-roll. I want to do that. I want to add like a little mask to this and that. So, but again, it's nothing compared to these guys like Peter McKinnon. I don't even now, even after I've watched all this stuff, I'm like, how is he making his footage look this good,
Yeah, I think Peter, like, worlds apart, Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat. Like, Casey, you watch Casey's vlogs, he does it all pretty much on a 70D or an 80D. There's no slow-mo. It's really raw. There's not even a gimbal on most of it, that's the art form. If you can create a video like that without any of the... it's almost like a safety wheel. Is it's like having stabilizers on your bike when you've got 100 frames. I never had it. I literally did all that stuff at Gemspeed. I never had 100 frames until obviously we had that chat. And I sort of and it is a bit of it's a safety net. Like when I'm filming now, I'm thinking, if all else fails, I'll just throw it on 100 frames. I'll slow it down. It looks sick anyway. Isn't it? It's true.
No, you're right. And it makes the funny thing is, it makes you a bit of a lazy filmmaker.
Yeah.
It's like I went to I did something at Chinese place in Leeds, Man's Markets.
Yeah.
I've been there before. I don't really like Chinese food that much, but the stuff they do there is really nice. It's a nice restaurant. But I went there and I thought, right, I'm gonna do the B-roll sequence here, and I'm gonna shoot it in 100 frames per second. But I'm not going to slow it down. I was like, I just want it to look frantic, that mad, like it's too. The frames per second is too high, but that can have an effect. You know what I mean? You can use that to certain effect, and it actually came out. I've not actually uploaded the video yet, but it's probably one of the best B-roll sequences I've done because it's got this weird kind of dubstep in the background which builds to like a drop, and I'm doing like some zooming in and stuff like that. And I'm like, right, stop dicking around with just 100 frames per second all the time, but. If you're feeling lazy and you just want to optimize it, it is a good option.
It looks sick, and that's where, going back to Peter McKinnon, like his work, it's unbelievable. Don't get me wrong, and he does it all on a 1DX, like the big Canon, which again is a mental. But like, apart
from when Canon bring out like a new camera and he's like, "Oh, I'm switching to this," you're not Peter.
You're a fucking liar. You know what you're doing. But he does a lot of 100 frames, so it makes life so much easier. And speed ramping and stuff. Like I think that one of the first times I've properly seen speed ramping myself, probably on one of your videos, when I saw you speed ramp across from like, you'll have done one scene cutting into another, but you'll have slow mode across like a burger, speed ramp to another part of the restaurant, and I'm like, that's fucking class.
I feel honoured there because I just speed ramping is one of those things. Is like, people talk about it, like creators talk about it all the time, and you're like, what is that? What are they? You don't understand what it is. You're like, what are they doing? How is he making that look like it's panning around and then something else is appearing in the same movement? And it's actually really basic when you get down to it.
And again, that's another safety net. It's another crook. Like you can quite easily fall into that trap, can't you? Where you'll just
so many times I'll be like, I want to do a mask here, right? So I'll pan past like say there's a wall jutting out, right? And I'll pan past it and think I can mask that into like another, and it'll look really cool. But it's gonna take me like 20 minutes of keyframing. Fuck it, I'll just do a speed ramp. People love that, but. Yeah,
we're getting really nerdy, aren't we?
I love the editing part though. The editing is like, once the film is done, people think you enjoy the food. I'm like, yeah, the food is all right, but like now I can just dick around my footage. Like I've got my raw footage now. I can just do anything I want with that. I can make like a little Benny Hill, kind of jokey sequence, or I can make it really serious and brooding. And
people don't understand that. Like most people, like, and again, this is where people are like, oh, I want to start a channel. And it's like, fucking hell, mate, you got to learn so much before you like even start a channel, because chances are it's going to be dog shit when you start, and then you've got to learn how to edit and then make your editing so it's like people want to watch it. And then even like the dialogue sequences, like they can go on too long. Not in your, I mean, like just in general.
Mine do sometimes.
Most people can sit there and they'll do like they'll talk and talk and talk and talk. And you're like, fucking hell, like you need to cut it, get a bit of B-roll in, change the scene, do something to just keep people engaged.
That's the thing, is a big part of it as well. Is I watched like a little excerpt from Martin Scorsese's. He did he do those like little online courses. I didn't pay for the course or anything, but he was talking about like the role of the actual camera. We think about a lot of YouTube videos, they're all, especially stuff like me where I'm eating, right? That's a fixed lens. I can't have it. The viewpoint is there.
Yep.
And he's talking about like, you don't have to move the camera. You don't even have to have more than one camera, but just keep the camera active. So a lot of my videos, it'll kind of crop in. It'll do like a really slight pan, a bit of a fake handheld action to it and stuff like that. And it's things like that. Somebody might be ready to click off, and it's still engaging me. It's not staying in one place at the same time. But I remember when I first started doing that, people were like, "Oh, you're cheating." When you're using the cuts, it's like you think I'm spending whatever £100 on food to then like spit it out. And and I wouldn't mind if like I failed, if I never failed. Like I probably fail like 30% of my videos because I've got eyes bigger than my belly. But yeah, that's a big part of making it interesting, just keeping the footage moving, if anything.
Have you ever thought about getting an electric slider to have like? Have you watched Geordie podcast, the True Geordie podcast?
No, I've heard of it. People keep tagging me and saying
I don't watch it. I don't really listen to it, but from a filming standpoint, to keep that active, because obviously this is like one camera angle. That's it for this one, so people can get bored. Whatever.
They'll be bored already. Probably tuned off already.
So you can get like a cheers, mate. They've got like an electric slider that just pans back and forth, cool. And you're like, oh, that's quite cool.
It's a good idea.
It looks nice. Does that?
I think it's like the energy as well. It's not necessarily just the movement of the camera. Like if you watch Peter McKinnon, right? We'll talk about him again. Like he'll do sections at the beginning where he's talking for over a minute.
Yeah.
But it's like he makes it punchy, you know. It'd be like he'll do something quirky with it, like where I saw one where he punched the camera, and I was like, I'm nicking that. I've not done it yet, but there's a point where he kind of goes like, and the camera moves like that, and it looks as if he's punching the camera, but it's just a keyframe and moving the actual thing. So yeah, all these things going to
it's really
filmmaking.
Well, while we're on, we'll start to wrap it up a little bit because it's about 4 million degrees in here.
It's pretty hot.
It's fucking red as.
I'm wearing a. Have I got any sweat? No, I don't have any sweat patches.
You have.
Oh.
I've got one as well. We're both wearing grey. Absolute amateurs.
Poor choice.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
It's back. I can see you're a bit of a fan.
I am, but people, because I did the Game of Thrones special, which I'm gonna just shamelessly say I did that because I knew people were watching it that night. It was coming out on HBO that night in America.
That's marketing.
The next day.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a cool idea because I'm just putting together. It's not like I'm just dicking about. I put memorable food scenes from the show in there.
Yeah, I thought it were really cleverly like the research they put into it for each item. I thought they were really clever.
But because of that, people think I'm a massive Game of Thrones nerd now, and I'm not. I mean, I love it. I love the show, but I didn't start watching it until season 5 was already finished. Right. I'm one of these like binge watch.
I think I did the same thing actually. I was on ship and everyone was like, "Oh, you need to watch this," and I ended up like watching like 1 to 6 or 1 to 7 like on a trip when I was away.
I watched them from the. So I knew like certain things. I don't want to spoil it, but Sean Bean and stuff like that. The early part, I knew that happened. But then
if you're worried about spoilers from season 1, he dies. Get over it.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised when people. I was saying stuff in my video, like just throwaway stuff like, "Oh yeah, Theon gets his balls, his penis cut off." People like spoiler, like, come on, man, it happened like 5 years ago. But yeah, people think I'm a massive Game of Thrones nerd. I love it, but yeah, I'm not mad into it. I've not read the books or anything. I just like the TV show.
It's Game of Boobs in it. Let's be honest. It's
Game of Bones. They call it, right?
Game of Bones. Yeah.
But yeah, I love. I think my favorite characters. It's either the Hound or Tormund. You know, the ginger guy with a massive beard, just because he has a big beard.
I think he's probably my favorite. Yeah. He's hilarious.
But I love the Hound as well. He cracks me up.
The banquet that you did for that, it was a bit of an interesting one. That pie looked minging, to be fair.
Yeah, the pie would have been. That was like I think that cost me like 25 quid, that pie. It was like a £3 pie, but it was like full of, you expect a pie to be a bit processed, right? It was basically just full cuts of tissue inside this pie. And I should have, heated it up. I think it would have been a bit nicer to heat it up and put some gravy on it. Because I'm from Leeds, so...
it looks so dry, and that chicken obviously were dry. Everything cold, dry.
I think I would have done it, if I'd not included the wine. Because like wine, like any kind of alcohol just kills my appetite. I'm like the opposite of most people.
Yeah.
But I got this wine, and I'm not much of a drinker these days either. So like I drank this full bottle of Red Wedding wine. That's why I bought it, because it was like, it's like official Game of Thrones wine.
Yeah. It looked smart actually. It looked nice.
But yeah, that was nearly finished it. Not quite, but.
So finally, what's which one's been your favorite video? Your favorite challenge?
I don't know if I have a favorite one. I think probably the one that's most viewed, maybe the pizza. I did a giant pizza challenge, which is actually really easy because it's a team pizza.
Yeah, 3.7 million views.
Yeah, but I did it with Dan Killer Kennedy, who's like a really class competitive eater, like better than me. So it was like light work, we did a half each, but it was a 32-inch pizza or something. Yeah. Between two normal people is probably hard, but yeah, the record was like, I think it was like 20 minutes. We did it in like 12 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe 13.
Smashed it.
Yeah. So it was cool though. It's cool being English and doing stuff like that. You go to a restaurant, because I'm only £156, right? So you see like a British guy go in there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do your pizza, mate." And he's like, looking me up and down. Yeah, of course you are. And then me and Dan just killed it.
I think it's funny for you, like the fact obviously you're English and it's like a very American dominated market, and you're from Leeds, which like. Without Game of Thrones, everyone would be like, what the fuck accent's that? But now you're like, oh, it's like the north, Yeah,
it's weird though, because people don't even... Some people that clearly know that I'm from Yorkshire, right? Because I think I don't have a particularly thick accent, I don't have a full-on... I think some of it's affected because I don't want to go... I know 50% of my audience is American.
Yeah.
So I can't be like, all right, mate. Not that I would talk like that anyway, but...
you do articulate yourself really well, and you always... make reference back to an American equivalent of a word. Don't you? On all your videos, which is it's funny, your audience, so like you've got to do it, but
you got them on, because that's the only thing I check on analytics really is where my audience are from, you
Yeah.
know, because it's with a few exceptions, it's 40% England, like 35% America, the rest of the world. But so then you got to appeal to those two people.
Yeah.
So they don't know what Greg's is, right? They don't even know
No.
what a sausage roll or a pasty is. Pretty
You
much.
should do the vegan sausage roll challenge.
When that happened, I was gonna do it, but then I thought I can't be arsed with people just in the comments and stuff. Oh, vegan sausage rolls. I just thought.
Have you had
fuck it.
one? Have you tried one?
No, but
They're-
I heard
they're really nice.
I heard the protein content's higher as well than in a normal.
Yeah, but it's like
meat
they're
sausage roll.
really high in like saturated fat or like something really random, but they're not good for you. Like they're a higher calorie count than the regular one.
It's from
like,
Greg's, I suppose.
It's
so,
just but what a marketing trick, you know? Like
yeah,
it's all for money.
yeah, of course it is. Isn't it?
It's worst challenge. Then which one are your worst challenge?
I want to say the 100,000 calorie challenge, which was like it's quite old, probably like
Right.
2 years old. That's one that kind of propelled my channel a bit.
Oh, I think I
But
remember seeing that actually.
I
yeah.
hit like 100,000 subscribers, and everyone under the sun that follows my channel was like, try to do 100,000 calories.
You did
Not
it
in a
over
day.
like a
Yeah,
few
it was
days.
100 hours basically. So essentially 4 and a bit days.
Yeah, I remember watching it now.
And honestly, I want to release like a remastered version of that because the color grades. I shot it all like 4400 Kelvin. So like there's some scenes it looks like I'm in the Arctic, even though it's just a normal room, right, with normal light temperature. But yeah, it was such. I think at the time it was just a massive accomplishment for me to film something which was that much.
It's a long
footage.
video as well. Isn't it? How long was that video?
Yeah, it's like nearly an hour long.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
But I knew people would watch
It's
it.
a fucking feature film that.
Yeah, I knew people would watch it. It's barely any B-roll in it though. It's basically just me eating for the entire time. And I failed. I did like 92,000 calories or something like that. But I think I want to say that was the worst because of like the after effects. Because for me, I'll eat if I film something today, which is like a huge meal, right?
Yeah.
3 days after that, I don't want to eat basically. Right? So I'm eating, like I said, salad, cottage cheese, water, nice detoxing, right? That was essentially 4 and a bit days of me eating like 20-some thousand calories per day.
You can see it in your face. Like obviously when you're going on to the next meal, you can see like your head and your heart's not in it, your body's not in it.
Honestly, the coolest part of that video I think is that like I show I dieted quite a bit before it. I show I've got abs right at the start, not super defined, but you can see like my abdominal muscles, and then at the end, literally a day after I gained like. I want to say I gained 18 or 19 pounds over like 4 days, right? And at the end, I lift my shirt up and I'm like, and I've literally got like a roll of fat there, which is just being deposited over half a week.
That's amazing, that, isn't it?
So, but I felt so bad, like my kidneys, in my back. It wasn't my back hurt; it was like my kidneys because they're just trying to get rid of all this stuff.
Yeah.
And people keep saying, "Oh yeah, do it again." And I'm like, if I ever hit 1 million subscribers, maybe, but probably not.
You're well on track for it though. Like.
Yeah,
You are well on track. I mean, like, just think you've doubled your growth in a year, which obviously I'm sure you knew that anyway. But like, it's funny. Like when I looked back to do a bit of research for this interview, like a year ago you did 250,000. Now you're almost 600,000.
Hopefully, yeah. But it's one of those things that you've got. I think to get to 500,000, it's not something that everyone can do. I'm not going to say that, but if you savvy enough and you produce good content regularly, it's very achievable for somebody that's, for some reason, a likable personality that produces good stuff.
Yeah.
After that, I think it becomes a bit more of a kind of a technical game of like trying to diversify and specifically trying to do like collabs with other people, like other bigger, like, so Casey Neistat comes to Leeds one day, I'll be like, come on Casey, let's do something together. And you've got, and I'm really against contrived stuff like that, if that makes sense. Or I don't
think
do
it's
it
a
much.
tough one, right? Because like your audience is there for you and for what you do. So like, even, like say I start a YouTube channel and go, right, let's, for whatever reason, we agreed to do a vlog together. It will not, categorically, will not transfer over to that channel, to my channel.
No, true, that's true.
Like no one, when we vlogged before, so I made a vlog at the same time as you made the video, and it's like Beard Meats Food does the VMAX challenge. I'm pretty sure we saw no fucking jump over. Like,
yeah, I mean, you're not gonna, because you've got the, like you said, captive audience, and collabs work to a degree where you share in an audience. But
if you're in the same lane,
if you're in doing the same thing, So,
because I saw Peter McKinnon on the back of Casey Neistat.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I'd have probably ever came across his channel.
Yeah. But he's when I watch Peter McKinnon, I'm like, how is he slaying it so much? Like 1 million subscribers in a year.
Yep.
Even though he's good, that's some going, you know, to to get to that level. So there is certainly an art form to get in there, and I don't understand YouTube well enough. I'm not one of these people that buries myself in the analytics every day, looking like, oh, how do I do this? How do I make people watch longer?
I don't think he does. I suspect he's a very likable guy, innit?
Yeah.
Naturally, Americans are really charismatic on camera. We're not as blessed as much, especially with Northern lads. We're not as charismatic as those Americans. We don't sound as good. They might think we do, like, but we don't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And they've got a better backdrop. Like, he's in Canada, it looks amazing all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas we're like in Leeds, it pretty much looks the same grey mess all year round. So like, I think there's a lot of factors, and obviously he's really charismatic. What were it like when you got your first YouTube plaque?
That was awesome, and I was surprised actually that it didn't come quickly.
No,
it was about 3 months after I'd hit 100,000 subs, right? And I'd heard people say it comes like 2 years later and shit like that. So, but when I got that, I don't know, it's just a weird achievement because it's something, even though it's something daft, right, on the surface of it, it's this achievement that you've created this thing from nothing, right? Yeah. From nothing, you're eating food, right, on camera. And all of a sudden, it's kind of a sense of validation. I thought, I'm actually more proud of that than I am any of my 2 degrees, right? Even though, 4 or 5 years went into my degrees of like hard graphics. I didn't just dick about at uni. I got a decent degree, like a 2-1, right? And stuff like that. But I was like, this is at the time, I actually said to my girlfriend, I was like, if we have kids, I don't know if I'm going to love it as much as I love this plaque. As a bit of a joke to her, but I thought, because it's just, even though it's a thing, if it gets nicked tomorrow, I'm not going to lose my shit over it. But just to get that physical recognition of you building this. I think it's
class, me. Like, again, you won't know unless you are in that creative space, but like, it's not many people get them, and it's such an iconic thing. Like, it's worth fuck all. Like, it probably costs like £3 to make in China, but it means so. Like, I think it's amazing. It means so much. But again, not many people understand that.
That's what I think. That's what keeps me motivated now. Not just to get in the gold one, right, for $1 million. It's not just that. But I'm thinking, if I get to that point and like I die the day after, I'm gonna think, right, it's not a legacy. I'm not Martin Luther King, but I've left a bit of something.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of what keeps me going now, is because I mentioned my dad dying and stuff, and I was going back on my phone and thinking, I wish I had more stuff, more photos of my dad, more videos. I've got plenty, but I wish I had more.
Yeah.
And I think, like, how great will that be if I have a kid now? Me and Liz have a kid, and he's not going to be without me any days. And that sounds really deep and stuff.
No, it's true.
But he can go back and he's got 700 videos to watch of me and his mum.
Yeah. It's proper amazing. Like, I think that is the world that we're in now, and being a creator and being able to create this content that's going out constantly, you are leaving a leg. Like, no matter what happens now, whether you retire tomorrow, somebody types in Adam Moran or Beard Meats Food, you're going to come up. Same for me. Like, you type in Josh Gudgeon, there's going to be an Instagram account, there's going to be videos, there's going to be Get Your Media, which is like my little baby at the minute. I'm trying to grow my company, and like, it's something a little bit bigger than just you in it. Like, I think it's amazing. Like, and obviously you're smashing it, and it's funny. I'm scrolling through your videos here now, and like the calibers, you can just see them getting better and better, and even the thumbnails. Like, the art form in the thumbnails.
If there's any like aspiring creators listening to this now, you can't. I used to underestimate the importance of thumbnails so much. I probably spend about an hour. Even my thumbnails are still shit. They're terrible.
I like them,
but
they're on brand now, though. That's their own brand,
But that's like your packaging, right? That's what, when you go buy a Big Mac, it never looks like the Big Mac on the advertisements, but you bought it because of the advertisement. So yeah, I spend a good hour on my thumbnails now. But
everyone's like, oh, fucking clickbait and all. I've done videos in past, fucking clickbait. Well, at the end of the day, like, I've done it. You'll make this video and you'll put everything into it, and no one watches it because your thumbnail is shit. You put no effort into it, and like, don't judge a book by its cover. That's all you judge YouTube by, is by its cover. Like, that's the only reason you're gonna click on it. Yeah. View count, thumbnail, that's it. So
yeah, no, you're right.
Right, mate, we'll wrap it up before I sweat to death in here, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Like,
yeah, mate,
it's been everything like I hoped it'd be. It's been a long road to get here, because obviously I think I messaged you probably like a while ago. But I'm up for, mate, anytime you want me back on, I'll be here. I feel like I was a bit nervous on this first one. I don't do many No, like, absolute natural. Like, I just got nerdy. I just wanted to know more about it. Like, I'm a big fan of the channel, big fan of you. Obviously, since we recorded last year, welcome back. It'd be great to do a part 2.
Yeah, of course we will, mate.
Um,
Maybe I'll come back and we won't talk so much about cameras and stuff. It's about more about entertaining stuff.
Quality, we'll get something together. But thank you. Where can people find you? Obviously,
Just type in beard meets food like anywhere.
I know. Yeah, most guests are like, yeah, it's @_hyphen. It's like
You can even
beard.
spell it wrong because I spell it wrong intentionally. So I can play on words. It's like beard MEATS
Yeah.
food. But if you type in like most people do, beard meets food the correct way, you'll or beard versus food. I hate that when people say, "Are you beard versus food?" I'm
Yeah.
like, mate, come on, you've not even paid any attention to my branding.
Fuck off, will you?
But yeah, just type that in, or just hairy guy that eats. You probably find me as well. I don't know. Maybe don't do
That'll
that.
be a weird one.
Yeah, don't do that.
Luckily, the government's going to shut that down in July. Anyway, catch you on the next one, guys. Thank you very much, mate.
No worries.